turning it on.
That is on, and this is on, and you got the recorder, so the technology department says good to go. Alrighty. All right, it is 7 o'clock. I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Brookfield Inland Wetlands Commission. Today is Monday, July 24th, 2023. My name is Sharon Fox. I act as chair of the commission. To my right, Mr. Bob Hudeman, who is the commission secretary. To my left, Mr. Michael Neustadt, who is the vice chairman. Further down, Mr. Dave Frankel, who is a regular member, so all four of us will be voting members this evening. Further down, we have our recording secretary, Cassandra Varian, and down far to my right is Ms. Laura Barkowski, who is the Inland Wetlands Enforcement Officer. So, with that, we will move on to the agenda. So we've got the Inland Wetland Officers Report. So we've got 7:31. Well, still looks like, even with, so good news with that deluge, right? Is this post the deluge? Not quite, right? I don't think that was the, yeah, that was at 7:10. That was July 12th. So that must be, I'm sure there'll be one after, but this one on the 10th looks good. So thank you to the applicant for that.
Is antediluvian.
Antediluvian is right. That's 731, 100 Candlewood Lake Road. I see we don't have anything written, but we had a very brief conversation. You said you had some updates.
I do have some updates.
Okay.
I actually spoke with the project manager out there. It's my understanding that there have been wetlands reports.
Okay.
There have been reports that are done. I'm trying to get my hands on them.
All right.
To be honest, I only touched base with him for the first time on Friday, so it might take me a little while. I did get a response to our email that was originally sent out to Paul Checo.
Yep.
Of the original response he sent back to my predecessor in January.
Okay.
That kind of says the soil scope is under O&G, just so we're aware. And the 8 reports regarding invasive species monitoring is due biannually for 4 years after the completion. I did find
That one I'm not so worried about. It's the wetlands and the restoration and whatever
so
they're doing with the recreation.
I found a different site plan,
Yeah.
which it includes a net zero of the wetlands destruction and the wetlands creation.
Okay.
So I do believe that although one plan did say, I think what were we saying last week, 700 less wetlands creation.
Mm-hmm.
I have a plan that actually calls for a net zero. So, and that is the one they are following.
So that's the one we need to get our hands on.
You don't have a copy of it.
We don't, not that I know of.
Okay.
So you're
I
saying
found it within the file.
rather than 4,000 to replace 1,000, they're just going to create 1,000 to replace 1,000? Is that what they mean by net zero?
No, they mean for, I believe I'm trying to find the actual, let's see if I have it in the copy of the approval letter.
Well, if you found, I did not find a plan that showed the 4,000. You know.
So there's an existing, they have a proposed channel that wasn't on one of the plans for a wetlands creation that's counted towards. There's wetland area 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to call out the channel, but there is a plan that actually, when you look at how it's laid out, it does have a net zero.
Okay, well,
I will get you a copy of that, absolutely.
We'll get into that. I'll stop by maybe the Monday before our next meeting, and I said, that's what we're asking. I had the plan, I couldn't find it. So if
Okay.
there's something that I didn't see, that's what I wrote them, to say, tell me what I didn't see.
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
could I add something at this point also
Sure.
from last week? I happened to, I was at Town Hall last Tuesday, and I happened to see Bob Belden, who's on the Board of Finance. And one thing led to another, and we were talking about the school. And I said to him, you know, we haven't gotten a response from Paul Checo. He was there, but I didn't feel I wanted to talk to him directly about this.
Okay.
But I said, they've not given us the 4,000 square feet of wetlands that was conditional in the approval. Bob got quite upset with that, and I said, Paul needs to respond to this. And I didn't. Paul was standing there. I didn't feel was appropriate to get into it.
Okay.
But, no, that was part of our plan. They were to create 4,000 square feet, and they have, what do they have, 3,500?
Well, that's what I found, but I think what
Mhm.
Laura's saying, she's found a map that I didn't see or missed something, that she's now finding 4,000. So that's what we don't have it here tonight, but I bet we'll have it here 2 weeks from now when we meet.
Yeah, well, I told Bob to have Paul respond to us, otherwise there'd be a problem with certificate of occupancy if they don't fulfill what was in our, what they submitted to us for our approval. So it was very unofficial, but I think I want everybody to know
Okay.
that it happened.
Okay. All right, good.
Good.
We'll keep this on the agenda, where it's on the agenda now. Again, hopefully the project manager will do what he's committed or said that he would, and we'll get the reports about the recreation and the restoration. And then we'll find a plan. If the plan's got 4,000, that's all we needed to know.
Now, was there supposed to be a report on the invasive species by a biologist
Yeah.
during construction?
I-
After.
There's sort of like maintenance plans
Yeah.
about like annual reviews of
Right.
things. But what we said is, when you're restoring the wetlands and you are recreating them, we want a report about what actually happened. Because it's very common
Mhm.
that what's in the plan is not what they end up doing, because they find things in the field.
Mhm.
So that's what we wanted, and then that provides a revised baseline for the annual reports. Does that help?
Well, I guess my question is, wasn't there supposed to be some sort of monitoring during construction
Yes,
by a biologist?
of the wetlands restoration and the creation.
But not only that, but of any invasive species.
I'm sure that was in the
Specifically.
restoration plan.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what we would expect to see.
See.
And I'll make this up, the restoration plan for this particular area was done on X date and was completed on Y date, and we found these kinds of materials, and yes, we were able to remove this by hand and this by this, and we had to change the planting plan and,
Gotcha.
Does that
Now, my
help?
memory isn't perfect, but you know what I'd love to see, which we should have, is the actual motion to approve with the following stipulations.
that's in over there.
It is.
Well, it's in I don't know if it's on the
Okay.
cart, but it's in the file.
All right, I would think
Um,
so, but I think that's what
No,
we
wait,
would
and I
wanna
may
look
even,
at.
I may
You
even,
know,
wait,
Michael,
I may even have it
we were in
here.
a Zoom meeting when this all occurred,
Yes.
and I can remember it as though it was yesterday.
Yeah. And I remember, because I
It
made
was
the
about, what,
motion,
2
we
years
had a
ago,
lot
I
of
would say?
discussion, and I made a
Here it
motion,
is.
and there were a couple of changes.
Here it is, right here.
Okay.
And here is the general conditions letter. And
I
then-
remember all of us were on the fence about approving it.
Yep.
And you were the
Back
guy
it
that
up.
pushed us over, basically.
So, okay, good. Well, then I'm ever hopeful that we will get the reports and that everything will go according to what they said was gonna happen. That's
May I
great.
make one more observation
Yes.
before we move on?
Yep.
I went by the school yesterday, I was going down Candlewood Lake Road.
Yep.
And there seems to be a lot of work going on by the parking lot for Huckleberry Hill School.
Uh-huh.
You know, I saw all kinds of heavy equipment, and they were moving dirt around and so on. I had not seen that before, but just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
Madam Chair, would it be helpful if I had a copy of approval for 100 Candlewood to your packet for next time?
I don't.
That's what I'm reading.
why I just
Okay.
gave Michael
All
my
right, that's
copy
what
of
this is
it,
what I was
so-
looking for.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And then the reason why you're seeing all the activity at Candlewood is they're in the process of demoing the old school. So you will continue to see more activity at front at Huckleberry. So just as an FYI.
That sounds like fun. That's demolition. That's
Yeah,
sort of
that's- yeah.
managing surprise, right? Okey dokey. Anything else? We do have it along the agenda a little bit further on, Michael. so
Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no,
They can
no,
get you a
I just
copy of that
found
if
what,
you want. What'd you find?
well, that the report that I was thinking about, by a qualified herpetologist, monitoring reports must be submitted by late fall, by November 1st, and early spring by May 1st for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, that doesn't start until after completion, and that wasn't my understanding of
Okay,
it.
wait.
Yeah.
There's two kinds of reports.
Mhm.
There's a set, I think about them as baseline reports. They
Mhm.
happen during the construction process.
Mhm.
What actually was created, and were there changes from what was ever in the plan? So
Mhm.
those are, I forget what we call them, but usually I think of them as sort of like baseline reports, or they are
Mhm.
reports of what happened in those areas. Particularly the wetlands creation, because
Mhm.
nobody had nothing on that when it was approved. So we'll need a report that says, here's what they did, here's what they planted, here's what the hydrology looks like, here's what the perks look
Mhm.
like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that gives you a baseline. Then, twice a year, for the
Mhm.
next 4 years, we will get status reports. So there's two kinds of reports. Does that help?
It does.
Good?
So what happens with the status report if we see something we don't like during the next 4 years after completion?
Well, the status report says, look, we had a baseline, we said this was happening, and if a year from now, there's no water, they gotta fix it and bring it back to the baseline. Okay,
I
or
guess-
if the invasives take over the area where they were doing remediation, then they gotta say, okay, we're out of the baseline, that's how I think about it, we're out of the baseline, they gotta come in and fix it.
I guess my misunderstanding, based on what you've just said, is that these reports and monitoring by biologists, et cetera, with dates here, would have been in the year that we approved it, would have started when the construction started, not when it finished.
No,
That's
it
my
can't,
misunderstanding.
it can't happen, because when we approved it, none of the work had been done.
Okay.
The wetlands hadn't been
Right.
remediated, and the wetlands had not been created. So it can't, so the monitoring reports don't start until the work is essentially complete.
I understand. I think I
Okay.
would have liked to have seen monitoring during the construction, because that would be the dangerous time period for
Well,
for
It's-
any
Well,
invasive.
we are
we are,
monitoring.
we are,
Yeah,
we're
okay.
getting reports, not moment by moment,
All right.
but
No.
sort of a summary report of this wetlands restoration area, whatever the number was, I forget, this is what happened in that, right? And we found turtles or we didn't.
So
And,
you're saying we're getting reports now?
yeah, I'm saying, they have them.
Oh,
But we
okay,
don't-
so you
we
are-
don't have 'em.
We don't have them, but you are
They
getting
have 'em.
reports.
Yeah.
The town
I'm
is.
in process of getting the report.
Okay.
They said they have something. Now, what the something is, we
Okay.
don't know.
All
Will
right.
it satisfy the
Us?
stipulations?
We'll
That's what
find
we're gonna
out.
find out.
Okay.
That's
what we're
gonna-
looking for.
That's what we're looking for.
You know, incidentally, the funny thing about this new school is you can't see it from the street either.
Well, that's because the old school's still there, maybe?
No, it's because it's down.
It's sunk in the wetland?
Well, no, remember there was
Yeah.
a ball field?
Yes.
I'm gonna just
we
encourage us to
gotta
get
keep
on to
going.
wetlands.
Yeah, okay.
We gotta keep
Okay,
going.
sorry, Dave, we can do
No,
that
no, that's okay.
afterwards.
Thank you, Sharon.
All right, so that is that. Okey dokey. Next we have is the famous 23 Grades Bridge. So again, thank you to the applicant for doing this. Yeah, the site is overgrown, I can imagine. Whatever that one weed is, it goes about this tall, it grows in like 48 hours. No signs, all right, so that looks good, I drove by there, I didn't really see anything there, so. All right, so that is that, enforcement. Yes, what should we know about, we have about this one, and we got, yeah, and you were talking, either anything updated on 35 Merwin Brook, and I know you were in conversations with 11 Merwin Brook as well.
Correct. So with 35 Miller Brook, I gave them a 15-day notice of contact me ASAP kind of letter.
Okay,
They have till tomorrow. I have not heard anything from them
Okay.
so far. This was the one where I sent the contact the office to 3 different addresses I have of record.
Okay.
I believe that there was an issue in the past of tracking this person down. Might wait a few more days just to make sure none of these letters come back to me as bounce back, but as of right now, none of these letters have come back to me, which makes me feel like they were sent via regular mail, but someone picked them up.
yeah, okay.
So, but they do have till tomorrow, so just to be fair, now the next step would be a notice of violation.
Okay, well, you can do that. You don't have to wait for us
Okay.
on this. If you, once you, once you're satisfied that, I said, they're not coming back, they're not even calling. They're not even calling to say, hey, look, we ran into some problems and we can't do this, can we get a
No
little bit more time?
communication,
There's
right.
been zero. So I think, this commission's been very clear that that's what we're looking for, is the remediation
I
plan.
think
And
if
so you
tomorrow's
can go
the
right to notice
15th
of violation.
If tomorrow's the 15th day, I don't think it would be inappropriate to start a notice of violation
Right.
2 days from now
Yeah,
on
it's not like this is
Wednesday.
the first
That
time.
would, that would be
Yep.
July 26th.
Yep, and you can do a show cause again if you want to, so.
You know, because we restarted this process, but they really haven't been cooperative.
Right.
So that is my update on 35, and then as far as the other one, 11 Merwin Brook, I did have a site visit.
Yep.
I spoke with the property owners. It seems to be more of a case in which education was necessary rather
Yep.
than an intentional violation.
Okay,
Out on the property, their little brook right there, I think it's unnamed at that
it's
point,
unnamed, yeah.
is totally overrun with invasives.
I saw that.
Totally overrun with no invasives. They thought they were getting rid of the invasives, not realizing in the process that that would require a wetlands permit. There's also a shed on the property that might need to be addressed. They were very, very apologetic, very willing to work with me. They're putting together a wetlands permit. Instead of just having the work that was done with the invasives, I kind of wanted a little bit more detail on what they intended to look like.
Okay.
They do wanna remediate the invasives, so they will be submitting a permit for that. And I told them if they wanna do something with the shed, put that on your wetlands permit as well, bring it to the commission, and we can see what we can do, because the shed right now is sitting on cinder blocks right over the unnamed brook. And it was pre-existing, non-conforming, is not a new shed. This is probably predates wetlands in all honesty, the shed.
Well, I remember some time ago, I know there should be a file, I think they had come in with an application with that shed. And there was a lot of back and forth as to where was it going? And so they were having a tough time coming up with a spot for it, and I think they eventually withdrew, I think.
I don't believe that shed has been moved at all.
Okay.
Since it's.
Well, maybe they were
its
trying to move it
existence.
someplace else, and maybe that's what it was, so.
Perhaps. It might not be the current owners as well. I feel
Yeah,
like the
okay.
property has turned over within the last couple years or so I don't know how, I believe you've been on the commission for a little while, so I don't know how recent we're talking.
It was many couple years ago, I don't know, that stuff runs
Yeah,
together.
I remember that, and it was a couple of years,
It was
maybe.
a couple of years ago, yeah, I almost
Something
think we were here, it might even been, I don't know, it could be 2020 when we were in COVID and stuff, I bet my memory is foggy on that one. But it is funny, cause that's what, when they knocked all that stuff down, that bank was clear,
And it's all
and
right
now it's
back.
covered with,
It's invasives.
with
It was all
invasives.
invasives to begin with, too,
Yeah.
before they knocked it down, so.
Yeah.
They wanna come up with a plan for some kind of ground cover, which everyone wants to stabilize.
yeah,
I talked to them, they were gonna propose a grassy slope. We're not really looking for grassy slopes.
they can't,
We're really
they
looking
can't,
for
they can't, right,
a ground cover, the possible, I spoke about Pachysandra, the possible.
some
they were-
ferns,
Or
yeah.
some ferns,
Yeah.
they liked the idea. They were gonna do their homework a little bit, I tried to push them in the direction of native species.
Yep.
Very cooperative, I knew that we were gonna be pressed
Tell
on
them it will
time to
be.
get an application.
Except for the
before-
Pachysandra, it will be native.
I know, Pachysandra is just such great ground cover, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think you can't really tell, I think with that, mercifully, there didn't seem to be a great deal of erosion on the top side of that bank, but there is at the bottom. And I don't know how much of that got into the creek that goes right under the road at that moment, so,
I haven't looked at it since our massive rainstorm. I was actually out there before
yeah,
our massive
right,
rainstorm. I know Merwin Brook was very active
yeah,
during that
it was.
storm activity, so I don't know if that affected anything at all, but I do expect to hear from them, and if I don't, I will follow up, but I do expect that they will be submitting an application.
Sounds like
I
it.
believe I was out there on the 13th,
Okay.
so.
Good. Thank you for that. Anything for Laura? Anything else? Alrighty, I think we can do this public hearing here pretty quick. 'Cause I'm just gonna look, did we get any, do you know, Laura, did we get any
I've not gotten
correspondence? I
any
know
new
you were talking
correspondence
with
that
the
I'm
town
aware of.
attorney about stuff.
And she is planning on being at the next
Okay.
wetlands meeting with me.
Yep, no, it's in
Okay.
there. That's,
Okay, so we
The
don't,
one I
so
think-
just to check, like I said, we know the town attorney is engaged in this. We don't have anything back from the selectmen or Northwest Conservation or Deep or zoning commission or whomever else we sent it to, so we're very, very keen, if anybody's listening, we're very keen for your insight. So with that, I'll make a motion to continue
Public hearing.
the public hearing till our next regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And so Cassandra, can you be sure in the minutes that, you know, I reopened the public hearing at 7:20? And use those, it's reopened, and then we continued it, so. Could you put that back?
Sure.
Thank you. Okey dokey. So,
Thank you.
we're gonna go on to, old business. Here's the school. We mostly talked about this. This is the conditions of approval. Again, the reports and the famous 4,000 square feet. We've talked about that already. So I'm very excited to be here in 2 weeks and resolve this. So with that, I'll make a motion to continue 100 Candlewood Lake Road to our next regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll second that.
Bob seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimous. Okey-doke. 14 Evergreen Drive. This is the DeBella family. Anybody here for that?
14 Evergreen?
Yeah. 14 Evergreen? 6B. 6B, 5B. We're almost there, 5B. We're not there, not 6B, not yet. This is the one, this is the whole property is wetlands
Yeah.
/ filled wetlands.
Yeah, they wanna
And
put
all they
a
wanna do is
generator
put a
in.
generator pad on it.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. No. Excuse me.
Find the right map here. And they were kind enough to fill in the,
Application.
yeah, the application. So they got the total wetland area. It isn't, I don't think this is quite correct, but I see why they did it this way. The total acreage on the property is .28. The total wetlands on the, well, I guess it is right. The total wetlands is .28, and yes, what they are now disturbing is 36, so they're correct. They are correct.
Just square feet.
Just square feet.
Yeah,
all right,
I
so-
looked at it and it
Yeah.
looked correct to me.
Okey dokey, so let's find the map. Here's the construction sequence, so we'll be sure, does it have a date on it? I'll sign it. 7/24, right? So we'll incorporate the construction sequence. And I know we're gonna pass this, so, where is the map?
You want to do this one here too, right?
What's that? Did you see?
No, the next page.
That's the
Yeah,
application. There it
do
is.
you want to
yeah.
stamp that?
No, I think
Okay.
that's just page 2, so I need the map that shows,
Is that
oh, here it is, right here.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da, okay. Does this have a date on it or anything? We can talk about it as the GIS map in the,
You can put a date on it.
we can put a date on it, we can put a date on it right now. We can put like a receipt date on it.
Sorry. Did they mark the, I thought they did mark the,
Yeah, there's a
Location
little
of the
line and a
pad.
little notation.
oh, right there,
Yeah,
there it
that's
is,
what
the
I
little
missed the first
circle.
time.
Okay.
All right, since I'm staring at this, I will do it here. So I'll make a motion then to approve the application. It's W-23-29. It's 14 Evergreen Drive for the installation of a generator pad as described on a Town of Brookfield GIS map, which now has a received date of July 24th, 2023. It incorporates the construction sequence, which is also in the file with all the regular stipulations.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Stony Hill Village.
Hello there.
Okay. So when you, we're gonna talk about it, and when you guys talk, Cassandra needs your name and address, okay? So, let me get the file for this. You guys brought a big chuckle to our faces here to think about things that have been 45 years ago,
Almost 50.
almost 50.
48, I was born in 71.
All right, so this, I mean, it's on the agenda. We don't have an application. I don't have an application. How come I don't have the file for that?
Because this is under correspondence, I believe.
Yeah, it was,
I don't think they were applying for anything. They
No,
wanted
that's
the
what I'm saying.
rules
It's not an
clarified.
application, It's just a letter, and we're probably gonna take a look at modifying their approval to make it easier for them.
you mean the original approval?
Yeah.
But doesn't that go back, that goes back,
Yeah, but we can modify it for them.
yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Well,
So, why
So-
don't you guys come down to, do you guys have any pictures of this? Good, 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 good. So why don't you come down, let's talk about what we know and what you know, and let's see if we can get, and, do you want a chair? Maybe I'll just slide,
Take one of
slide a
these.
couple of these down maybe, or whatever.
yeah, they're
So-
all different pictures.
Let's get your names for Cassandra, please.
Kimberly O'Rourke, 1 Stony Hill Village. You don't want to stand at the podium? You don't normally stand at the podium? Okay. Maybe because we came at a gathering, I don't know.
Oh, well, that's okay. Always always good to come with your friends.
Annalisa, Annelise. Chapman. 97 Stony Hill Village.
Greg Garner, G-A-R-N-E-R, 13 Stony Hill Road.
Okay, so I see from your letter, and you guys can fill us in, or I said you grab a chair, we can get, others get comfortable. You guys are up, the condominium is updating their bylaws, or?
Declaration
The-
of bylaws.
So that's what's driving this, as well as just general, what are we supposed to do, questions, right?
Yeah, there's a few things that are driving it.
Okay.
We had a board that exited and we're part of the new board that came in.
Okay,
The pond has been treated annually, I believe, 4 treatments per year on a consistent basis since the 1975 letter.
is that this, one of these?
That is the
Okay,
pond.
okay.
There's 2 things to know about the pond.
Okay,
There's 2 drainage pipes. One comes in, may I turn this
sure,
around for 1 second?
yeah, it's your picture.
Okay. So one drainage pipe comes in this way,
And did
which
you know,
catches
the catches from what?
runoff from the
Hill.
street. Yeah.
From the street?
It's through the woods. So basically, this pond is in the lower level of Stony Hill Village. We call that the Heatherwood end.
Okay,
I live on the upper end.
Okay.
So there's your main street, and then there's woods, and the woods lead down the hill to the pond.
okay,
So there's a drainage pipe that brings any water runoff when we get the heavy rains down into here. And then there's also another drainage pipe that does the same for the Heatherwood end. So keeping that in mind,
does this thing have a name, cause, just to help us out, because these approvals, which you were kind enough to send us, talk about something called Wetland 1, and then,
the only thing, and that's why we're reaching out, because the only thing that we know is what was provided to us
Okay.
by a resident who's been there since the dawn of time,
all right.
which was that letter.
Well, in theory, we have it back there, but I guess
Yeah.
we can find that out too.
I believe it's wetland number 4.
This, you think this is number 4?
That's referenced in your letter.
Okay,
Refers to.
A lot of this must have been, submitted for approval when the development was being.
yeah,
Because the neighborhood was, there wasn't even the first building until 1978.
mhm.
I had always said, what, that was 85, 87? So I'm wondering, like, how much of it is pre-even construction of everything? Because that would make sense if it's 1975, they're going through the approval process. Another section is the oldest, I'm just wondering, I don't know.
So there's a few things that have happened since 1975. We were on private septic, we had leach fields.
Right.
Which prompted that letter when it was being built.
Yep.
In 2002, I believe, there were issues with septic leaching into the wetlands.
Yeah.
Not only by our development, but there was Wiskineer was one,
I remember,
and there was another one.
I remember.
So.
Vaguely, but I remember.
A few years pass, everybody, plays nice, they get along, they figure, okay, let's move on and get on to public sewer.
Okay.
So we're now connected to public, so
Right.
basically, our circumstances aren't in line with documentation that we have from the Inland Wetlands Commission. With that being said, the
I
pond was.
remember, you know what, again, my memory is not perfect. It is not perfect, but I almost remember that the plan to get the sewer, the septic or the WPCA line up to your condominium actually did go through wetlands.
Yes, part of it did, and it took quite a few years in order to get that done.
Right, cause it was a very complicated engineering
Yes.
project.
Yes. So after that was done, the Stony Hill Village community was still treating the pond 4 times a year as if we were still on the public sewer. With the new board coming on, we were looking at basically the whole budget, our maintenance and everything. We couldn't get a clear answer as to why we were treating the pond or what we were treating it for.
Okay.
So for this season, we decided to decline the treatment until we reach out to the appropriate parties. I'm an environmental claims adjuster. I deal with oil remediation.
Uh-huh.
My strong point is not ponds. I do know that wetlands are very strict. In my field, when we have any type of leakage, you have to clean it up to non-detect it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So that was my concern, is that I wanted to make sure that when we're updating our declaration, our bylaws, and also going into some baseline water sampling and taking on a treatment plan for this pond, that we are doing it in compliance with what the inland wetlands requirements are, which we
Right.
don't have a clear understanding of what that is.
Right.
So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. What kind of timeline are you guys on? I mean, is this something you're trying to get done next week or the week after or in September or by Thanksgiving? What kind of timeline are you guys on?
Well, we have invasive curly leaf pondweed in this pond.
Mm-hmm.
So our management company observes it, but from March, if you look at these photos, this was July 3rd.
Yeah, I bet it's worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is also July 3rd.
okay.
And then these, there's the baby duck.
Where's the baby duck?
He's in here. He's with his mom over there.
Oh, good.
But these
Stay
were
away from the
March.
turtles.
I know. And see, it was much clearer in March than it was.
Sure, because the weather's been warm and a lot of
Yeah,
water.
and with all the rain.
Yeah.
So really, if we're gonna treat it for this year, normally we would treat.
Oh, there's the ducks.
Yeah, the last 2 treatments would be July and August. So if we're looking to treat it for this year for the invasive curly leaf, we'd like to do that sooner rather than later.
Okay, well,
We do have some very anxious homeowners as well that live directly in front of this pond, and it's
Okay.
not looking very
This
pretty.
is an actual picture
okay,
of today
yeah,
of the pond. I mean, it doesn't look, I don't think it looks drastically different from
Yeah.
that. Let me see. Yeah, so this is from a little farther away. So
Okay.
basically the back up here is the wooded area that Kimberly's talking about, and it
Okay.
goes up to the main road
So-
intersection.
Who does your treatment? You know, the company that?
oh, just 1 second, because
Yeah.
that's not our purview.
Oh, okay.
That's not our,
I
yeah,
get-
that's
well, I
what,
guess
I
my
wanna quote.
question-
We do
might-
apply for permits, we
Okay.
do go
Yeah.
through the
Yeah,
appropriate
that-
channels.
For, we are not involved in that.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I understand
Oh,
that.
okay, all right.
Um,
So I'm just
All
saying,
right.
we are not involved in that process of
Yeah.
picking the people and
understand. I
picking the
just-
chemicals, so.
I guess my question, and I would assume the answer is yes, that whoever is doing this has the appropriate,
I'm sure they'll get it from
Yes,
deep, yeah,
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
we do.
that you look at that.
right,
Okay,
That was
that's
the-
all.
Yeah.
And that was the other question, is that because it's wetlands and the guidelines and levels of sampling is so strict, is there anything that we are not supposed to be utilizing? I mean, we're looking at different options.
for
whether
the
it's-
chemicals,
Yeah.
you gotta talk to Deep.
Okay, and I did. I called
And what
Deep.
did they say?
They told me that they don't manage that anything that has to do with maintenance, because the letter from 1975 specifically states to maintain. So we need to know what your definition of maintain is. Is that a specific chemical? Or can we go from chemicals to a bubbler? What does that look like? And Deep is saying that they don't regulate ponds of this nature, that they leave it up to the Inland Wetlands Commission. I have in the letter that I had sent the specific person that I spoke with.
Well, thank you for that. That's the first I've heard of it explained that way.
Hi, Laura.
Yeah.
How are you? It's nice to meet you in person.
You too.
I did see your response stating that. My question is whether or not Deep understood what was being asked of them, or, because maintenance is so broad, and we even questioned this last time.
Yeah.
What did you mean by maintenance of the pond?
mean treating it chemically? Do you mean dredging the pond? Do you mean emptying the pond, you know, on a?
We're not sure based on the letter that we have in front of us. That's what the question is. We don't know
Do you,
what.
Yeah, I
could
mean,
you
I have a-
provide
I-
what has been used in the past exactly, what
Well-
chemicals or whatever?
Yes.
Again, Dave, we're not in the chemical business.
No,
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 I'm just
it's
saying,
just
so
to
just-
appro- no,
We're,
it's
we're
to
not,
approve it
we're
for the
not
future.
in the chemical business. That's important to understand. We're not in that, but we can answer the question about maintenance. I
Okay.
think we can answer that. But whether they use X chemical or Y chemical,
I can tell you what they were treating if that's helpful.
no, because
No,
we,
okay.
I'm just telling you, we,
Okay.
I don't, because it's very complicated.
I
So
understand.
that's
I
why
do
I'm trying to
understand.
just draw a very, very bright line here. I think we can define maintenance.
Okay.
Okay, but what chemical you use to
Is entirely up
get
to
to the
us.
maintenance is up to you, and
What's approved by.
I think deep.
Deep, depending on
Yeah.
what kind of, if it's a pesticide or herbicide,
Yeah.
so I think that the confusion there was the maintenance in and of itself, because when they hear maintenance, they don't always think pesticide application. Because
Well-
DEEP does the pesticide and
Right.
certain applications, and they regulate certain chemicals that are being used in it.
Yeah,
And our community is interpreting that letter, maintenance, to be pesticide treatment. And
well, I
we're-
think keeping it, keeping, the
Herbicides.
yeah, whatever you
Herbicides.
decide, let me just jump here a little bit, because I think you're trying to define maintenance now, it's on, you know, and we want to try and find, I think there could be something after this, with the, an approval after this, I think, because in the late nineties-ish, when this sewer thing was happening, late nineties, early 2000-ish, they did have to run a line, and it was very complicated to get it there.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure there might be, I'm 95%
definitely-
sure there's an updated approval besides this.
And where do we get that?
Well, we'll have it. You don't need it, we have it. And if we don't have it, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, that may have something different than maintenance.
Okay.
It may, and so we want to understand that. That's why I asked about your timeline.
But
Yes,
could I just point you to item number 9 on this paper that has the binder
Yep.
on it?
yep,
So item number 9, if you look at about halfway through, it
Yep.
says the condominium association shall maintain and clean the sediment basin as required by the Inland Wetlands Commission of the town of Brookfield.
Right,
So
and-
it's not just maintain, it's also clean.
yeah, and I think we can answer that too. I think we can get to there, but so I think, I'm just trying to, like I said, because you got a couple layers
Yeah, it's
of
complicated.
situations, right? So I think in general, we want to look to see if this has been superseded.
Sure.
It may be, and I'll just give you, now I'll jump to the maintenance question, and I'm going to give everybody a chance to talk, but I will just jump in. You said this drains road maintenance, and did I hear you, this
Water
pond?
runoff,
From the road, or comes under the road? Do you know?
Off of the top of the road, through
Yeah.
the woods and down
In
into
a,
the
like a,
drainage.
in like a little, in a little gully or a gulch or something?
What did you call it?
Is it a pipe?
Little gully.
A little gully,
But there's a, my unit is right next to the drain
okay,
where it empties out.
Okay.
To the lower portion.
okay,
And there is a concrete barrier with a pipe.
oh,
A basin, essentially, yeah. That's.
Com-
And then that water runs off, and of course, when there are heavy rains, there's a lot more water flow.
right,
A lot of times it's nearly almost dry.
okay, yeah,
Overflow.
right,
But there is water coming from the upper portion.
Yep.
Runs along Stony Hill, is that Stony Hill Road?
yep,
It's kind of wetland area
Yep.
up there, and there's wetlands.
yep, I know, it's wetland all over the place, yep.
Yeah.
And this also provides, because this is, it sounds like this is what we would now call, because things change from 1974 to the year 2023, a detention basin. And it's capturing the water from the street and from wherever this other is, the eave troughs or whatever, building footing drains or whatever. So, again, I think we can look, there's probably an updated plan. We're gonna wanna keep this as a detention basin.
Right, or like a retention pond.
Yeah, retention pond, which means we have to figure out, you know, if there's sediment going in there, it's not coming from your footing drains or your eaves troughs.
Runoff.
It might be runoff from the road. And if it's runoff from the road, that's just gonna keep putting silt in here, and then suddenly this thing is gonna do what it wants to do, and you're gonna have water where you don't want it.
There's,
And that's the concern.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of wildlife down there as well.
Yeah, yeah, so,
there's definitely some, I know from speaking, sorry, I don't mean to.
No,
Okay,
go
so
Yeah.
Speaking from our spot, because we're on the same street.
Yep.
on Acorn Lane inside of Stony Hill.
yeah,
Where it crosses under Tulip Tree Circle, which is the main loop
yeah,
through our neighborhood.
yeah,
There's like concrete barriers, big piping. It's right along the regional natural gas line.
yeah,
Especially when there's lots of rain, it really fills up. I'm pretty sure that some of the drainage, under Tulip Tree Circle there does feed into it.
okay,
There has to be some type of road runoff in it, even, especially if it's just heavy rains.
yeah,
Cause it overflows
yeah.
into that whole area.
Is that leach fields to the left of the highway up top?
The leach, like the old septic fields?
Yeah,
The
the
old-
two fields, there's one over the edge of Heatherwood and
the old septic fields, when you make a right on Heatherwood, it's like a 4 or 5 acre field, just empty now. And like the whole thing hasn't been ripped out. Where this is actually,
Where
it's
the
quite,
pipeline is on
it's
the
quite a
left side.
distance
Yeah.
from the pond
Okay.
and the pipeline. So it looks like to me like it's a retention pond. I don't know if the builder built it. I don't know if it was there already. I don't know, did we build it?
I-
Is it a man-made?
When I looked at the documentation that was posted about the, septic
Yeah,
release or contamination, it appeared that that was
it
existing.
was already there.
Yeah.
And we built around it.
Yeah, that's why I said we don't, the land use office is gonna get the
Yeah,
folder, so
I
we
can
can
only
take a
go
look
based on my
at it, yeah.
interpretation of that.
I mean, just in general, if this is functioning as a detention basin, you know, we want it to continue to, and hold the water before, so it doesn't go in the wrong places. We wanna try and keep this, we wanna try and keep the sediment out of it.
Yeah.
You know, which maybe is something, again, I don't have it in my mind what you were describing, but maybe there's a way, maybe we don't have to dredge this thing, right? But maybe you guys can we can look together, right? Cause we can amend these approvals, right? There's nothing cast in concrete from 1974 to whenever to now. If things change, we can amend this. You know, to maybe look at a way to keep that road sediment from getting in the pond.
Like a filtering system? or
Yeah, hopefully not a filtering system, but maybe things like riprap and some water bars, you know, made of stone, that we might be able to put, again, I don't know this gully, I'd hoped to get out there, but my schedule just didn't allow me to get out there. We might be able to look at that little drainage area, figure out a way to put some big stones in there, and what they call water bars, which are sort of like horizontal to the line of flow, that would,
Deflect the water.
or slow it down, and if there's sand in it, it drops. And it doesn't go into your pond.
If you have an opportunity, I know you're very busy.
Yeah.
But to see it.
I'm gonna
would
try
make
and-
a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get out there.
It's definitely, I think it's fair to say, it's definitely some type of retention, detention type thing. 'Cause
I don't, that's why I'm here, I don't
'cause
know,
the-
it's not my area of expertise.
Well, like I said, if you've got roof runoff or footing drains
Yeah.
from a building, they would want that to go into cause it's a big footprint, they would've, again, today, I guess I can't speak for whatever they were thinking back then, and I guess you're right, I don't know what was there. I don't know if it was a small pond and they said, oh, well, let's just, put it in there, I don't know. You know, the plans might show it. But we're gonna wanna have something for all that roof runoff to drop on the property so it doesn't start eroding whatever the wetlands are on the downside.
I think actually the majority of it seems that goes into the pond. It doesn't seem to overly come from all the other streets around it. Like,
Okay.
it seems like it's a runoff from the wet areas and the wooded areas along Stony Hill Road.
Okay,
Between the two entrances, but we noticed in here from the letter 1975,
Item number 10.
item number 10, it
Yep.
says the first construction in wetlands area shall be the construction of detention
Yeah, so you guys think this is wetland number 4?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it sounds like they probably did build it, okay.
This shall be completed before any water is directed into any wetland, so
Okay.
it must have been built.
That's what it sounds like. And that would be a very, very common solution. A lot of big buildings here in Brookfield, they either go underground, there's a big tank underground, or, there are other detention basins that you'll see, you know, like, the size of it is dependent upon how much water is flowing into them. There's a small one, like by the Newtown Savings Bank, over by the, that tool place, you know, the first, or Federal Road. There's a little detention basin in there. That's one that's very easily seen. BJ's are mostly underground, you know, and then they will flow up before they hit the, I guess that would be the East Brook. I'm trying to think of another one that'd be easily seen on Federal Road.
This might be a dumb question, and I apologize.
And there's ones that are being built, you know, on 731 Federal Road.
Oh, yeah.
If you look, you know, on the southeastern side of that property, you'll see a big depression there. That's another detention basin that was dug to allow for the water from the building, from the roofs and the footing drains and some of the parking lot water to hit that detention basin. Whatever nasty stuff is in there will sink, and then it goes into the Still River. So this is a very common solution.
And with something of this nature, we talk about sediment, I know that's very important, but do you also regulate what is growing in it as far as the curly invasive?
I can't say for any, yes, there would commonly be like a maintenance plan on a detention basin, and that would probably preclude, it would probably be to ensure that it continues to function. So if this thing fills up with vegetation, that's gonna take away from the volume, which is now gonna impede, you're gonna have less volume, and now the water, when it comes, is gonna go, So I think in general, and I know I've done a lot of talking here, so I'm gonna shut up in a second. I think you're gonna wanna get that invasive stuff out of there.
Okay.
Go with your plan, get back with Deep, cause we think they can help you figure
I
out
will
the
certainly
right
try.
stuff. And then I'll try and get out there, and all of us try and get out there, and we can look at if there's a revision to this, so let's see what that says. And then let's look at, like I said, dredging a pond, if we can avoid that,
Yeah, we definitely want to.
if we can avoid that better,
Access to it is very limited as well.
it's, yeah. But we can look at, again, something that would keep the sediment from going in there. You know, which is, again, maybe that one road runoff, you know, now you guys may have to invest with an engineer or somebody to help figure this out, because they can do calculations like how much water would you expect in a 25-year flood or a 100-year flood, and they can help figure out, do you need one water bar, do you need 4 of them, how big is a rock, that kind of happy stuff. And with the weather these days. So we might be able to look at that as a better solution,
Like a
because,
long-term solution.
yeah, because then it solves the problem long-term, at least the sediment problem long-term.
I mean, it sounds like I'm not putting words in your mouth or anything, but the vibe that I think we're probably getting, you're recommending to keep the invasive species, at least at this moment, under control.
Yeah, again, and that's that's based on item number whatever, 9 or 10 or something like that. So I think we're in keeping with that for today.
Until we have a larger, grander solution.
Yeah, so I think we'll go and get
Okay.
the latest plan, and I'll try and get out there, and maybe everybody can get out there and, you know, try and come up with something that's workable for you, is good for the wetlands.
And my contact information is on there as well.
Okay.
if you want me to reach
Is it easy to find this thing, wetland number 4?
You have to go down.
Oh, you have to
the
go down.
Heatherwood side.
It's
Okay.
pretty easy, you're not walking through the woods or anything.
Okay.
Like the
Depends
top
on which
part-
direction you go. Cool.
True,
All right.
but, well, the top part, you know, is.
Well, if I
usually
could
show
find it on the
full
plan, I should be able to
distance.
get out there, so we can find it on the
I'm
plan.
happy to meet you guys too, if you want.
All right. I don't know, it might be like I usually try and do this stuff on a Sunday. That's when I generally try, but we'll see. But I'd like to get out there just to see. I mean, I'm hoping that it's still, did you guys did it I assume it overflowed? You know,
No, it hasn't.
Oh, good.
We just
It drains out.
recently,
Okay.
stopped the treatment for this season
Mhm.
August.
Yep,
And we were monitoring it to see, let's see what happens.
okay.
And now it's getting quite mucky, and it looks like the vegetation is starting to accumulate.
Right, well,
So, and then when we saw that letter, we thought, well, if we're gonna put in to our new declaration and bylaws.
Yep.
Something relative to a maintenance
Right.
plan for the pond.
Right.
We need to know specifically what that looks like for the ICW or IWC to be in compliance.
yeah,
And according to the pond person who has, I guess, been treating it for a while, unless I read Ryan's email wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, it's been treated 4 times a year, but according to him, it seems like we could really get away with only treating it once or
treatments.
twice.
that just seems awful. I mean, you never had to treat your pond 4 times a
4
year or
seems
3.
really
Yeah, they do.
Oh, you do? Okay,
They
once
do.
it's in, it's in, huh?
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
at this point, I mean, they've been doing this for so long
Yeah.
without any, I feel like we need to do a baseline sampling to see exactly where we are.
Yeah,
Do the treatment and see where we're going with it, if it's successful, if it's not successful, if it's not, then we have to look at alternate options.
okay.
By successful meaning to remove the growth that's in there now, is that what you're saying?
Yes, because it all has to do with different levels of like, bacteria and things
Yeah.
that are in the water.
Yeah.
I did some research on it, so there has to be certain levels in order for the growth to diminish or to flourish. So if the pH levels and all these other things are off, and that would be, basically you'll look at your baseline sampling and there's, I think, 6 or 7 different components that they test for. And you see where you start from, you do the treatment for, once or twice, you take another sampling event for the same parameters, and you can see if it's improving, then the treatment is successful.
Right.
Yeah.
essentially.
And there's, so, yes, I mean, it would be
You know, with
great if we
these
could.
treatments, there could be unintended consequences also with it, something else could be going on.
Yeah, it's-
Because
Well,
it's
and
so
that's-
frequently treated.
Yeah,
And that's why some community members are looking for something other than chemicals.
yeah,
Maybe we treat it for August this year,
Right.
and then look at something that's a little more green for the future, whether that's a bubbler or.
right, a bubbler, or maybe, I don't know, your pond was pretty shaded, right, too, right?
It's fairly well shaded. You're talking about,
Yeah, your previous pond,
oh,
yeah.
the previous
The
pond.
previous
I'm
pond,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
of the condo. The previous pond, we did put in bubblers.
okay,
Put in what?
It was well shaded.
yeah,
Excuse me, put in what?
Bubblers.
Oh, bubblers.
Yeah,
yeah,
but we did have to have it dredged.
okay.
If you remember
I remember,
that,
yeah, I remember
that
you had to
weird
did
process
eventually,
the guy
yeah.
came up with.
Yeah, a weird process, I remember that.
But it worked.
Do they need bubblers, do you know, that are like solar powered or anything, that you don't have to run like electric lines?
Well,
into?
we had an electric line to the pond already, cause we had lights and,
Okay.
you know.
Oh, we
and-
do have lights down there, don't we?
Yeah,
True, true.
so we had power,
Okay.
and it wasn't that
Too
big a
bad.
deal.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think the residents might actually like a bubbler, it kind of.
Right.
yeah,
And the way it
looks
works.
nice.
yeah.
Some of them
bubbler-
won't like the cost of what you're proposing, however.
Well, this wasn't as,
Something that's gonna cost, whether we treat it chemically or.
yeah, the bubbler wasn't that expensive, because it was out where the power was, and then you just ran a rubber hose down into the pond, and it bubbled up from below, so
Yeah,
you
'cause it'd
didn't
be
have
kinda
to put
fun-
power into the pond.
Yeah, it would be kind of fun, I said, to do something so you don't have to keep pouring
Yeah.
chemicals, and I said, if we can
yes,
find why, maybe,
definitely.
said
It
maybe.
helped, it wasn't perfect, but it helped.
Yeah,
Well, anything that, that's a little more green.
The bigger thing we did at the pond at Merwinbrook to keep it under control were fish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we stocked it with and we had to get a permit from the state to do this, but you stocked it, I forget what they were called, but a kind of carp that ate invasive species.
We had something like this before the commission, this thing about carp. What was it, 2 or 3 years ago? It had something to do with cleaning a
remember that.
pond
I
by
remember
having,
that.
Was
you
that my
remember
pond?
that? No, but, no, we were all on the commission. This is like the
Okay.
second time this
Oh, okay.
topic
Yes,
has
that's what-
appeared. You don't remember,
no, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
don't.
but you do.
Well, I remember the word of carp coming up to clean something.
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
I can't,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
actually were that was in reference to the town street or location, I couldn't tell you. But I do remember the concept being presented.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you have to put other fish in so the carp have something to eat while they're growing up. It's a whole process. We had to get somebody who knew what they were doing, managing a pond.
Interesting idea as well.
Yes. But it was not
Yeah,
inexpensive.
that could be an
the
interesting
dredging
thing, and-
of Restocking, et cetera.
Tell everyone to make a goldfish pond.
Yeah, no, that would be good, you know, people in your community, they could go down, watch the
And you get the
fish swim
and
around.
you get the
when
heron
they
in to
have nothing
grab the
else
fish,
do.
so, which is good. Good
You
for
wanna look
everybody.
at the cost of all this, this isn't in our purview, but you do wanna watch what you're doing in terms of cost, you'll get people angry otherwise.
Okay. All right, well, I think short term, I would go on, maintain the pond and get that invasives out of there. Then we'll keep this on the agenda. Let us look, see if we can find the recent plan. I'll try and get out there, and I said, maybe we can look at, something, where this becomes, more meaningful, right?
would be
Yeah.
helpful.
Right?
because
Something
Yeah.
we can do something that'd be more meaningful, right, which is no problem. And think about a way, I said, to make the pond a little better and make it easier for you guys.
Sharon, would you
Yeah.
suggest that they only treat the pond once more this year?
No, I don't know enough about it, so, I mean, for me, maintenance is keeping the invasives out. If they had to treat it every 5 minutes, then they would have to do it every 5 minutes. I don't know a time frame, and that's not my purview.
I feel like in the situation from what the pond guy recommended, like that he said you really only need to treat it once or twice a year, they were doing it 4 times a year. I feel like we could probably just get away with doing it once.
This is-
Again, I don't know, I'm a fact-based person,
No,
I wanna
no.
see, like, I deal with
Yeah.
soil sampling and things, I would
Yeah.
wanna see your starting point. Take a sample,
Yeah.
it's 3-day turnaround,
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
and then implement the treatment
True.
and go from there.
I mean, I think in general, our purview is we try and make whatever goes in that pond, the water as clean as possible, and that it works, it does its job, which is detaining the water there before it then flows into probably a cleaner wetland. That's what that's job is. So from that standpoint, that's what our remit is.
And we are currently working with our attorney to, lock down and finalize the new declaration and the bylaws.
Okay.
We're hoping to get it done by the new year.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you wanna get
Yeah,
this
well, I think-
aspect pegged down also
Yeah,
with
well,
bylaws.
I mean, I would think once we get the plan, once we stare at it, I mean, it could be another month, another
that's
meeting or two. I mean, there's no, I can't imagine this would go on for months.
And Laura and Christine have my contact
Okay.
information if you need us to come back.
Okay.
But this gives us good direction as to what to do, because the question was to treat or not to treat.
Treat,
And so it's clear,
Ma-
you're
to
saying
make-
to us that.
because that's gonna help make sure it functions correctly.
Perfect.
Right, that's its job. Its job is to hold that water, which is not clean,
Yep.
from flowing into the wetlands.
Yeah, the red flag for Sharon was runoff from the street.
Right.
I saw
Uh,
it.
That's where, you don't realize it, but that's where alarm bells went off, I know it well enough.
Whether or not like the storm drains on the street are designed to send it in there. or
Yeah.
not, I think they do from up our
It's
part.
inevitable.
It has to be, but regardless, when it rains heavy, it's overflowing into the grass and going into the wooded area into that. So something is getting in there from the street.
Well,
There's
it
no
wouldn't
way
be
it's
the first street runoff that's
No.
not whose original design is not matching current situation. It wouldn't be the first one,
No,
no. But we can you guys might be able to fix that. We can work with you to come up with something, because you wanna fix that, okay?
it might not be too big a deal to fix either.
Might not. No, it probably is not. Like I said, this could be something like riprap and water bars, and maybe that gets a little bit, maybe you have another second detention basin. That's a possibility too. You can, the water comes in, again, you're gonna probably end up with a little engineer here. You have another detention basin, or maybe water bars, slows that water down for a bit, and then it goes. Again, I don't know the property, that may be not possible, but those are the kinds of things you can look at.
That's fabulous, thank
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
okey doke.
Well, and that would also, what Sharon's describing, that would help ease the number of times that the pond is treated anyway, because
Right.
there's less bad
Right.
water in there, if you will.
Right, right, it'd be better for the fish if that's what you decide. And if you bubble it, it'll be clearer water, not grungy stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's, yeah, for people who live right in front of it, it's
Yep, yep. Alrighty,
Thank you all
All
very
right.
much for,
Thank you for coming in and working with us.
and explaining this, so,
Appreciate it.
yeah, and then going through the history.
Do you
you-
wanna keep these photos?
Could we?
Could we?
Yeah, could we?
Good.
Or do you want them? Do you want them?
Kimberly, I
no,
took-
not at all.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
why don't we put them
Okay.
in the file?
All right.
got
That
'em
might
on
be a
my phone,
plus.
I don't need them anymore.
Okay.
do we,
We'll put a, can we also, when the
Yeah.
land use office, Laura, Christine is sort of going to the archives and seeing what she can find, can we get a folder?
We do not have a folder yet on this.
No, we
because
don't.
it was under
Well, I didn't-
correspondence. I did try to pull the original approval, and
Okay.
none of the mapping was helpful, to be perfectly honest. But
Okay.
if you're saying that there was something done afterwards,
There,
that you think was superseded.
I'm saying the possibility exists.
Everything.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm saying the possibility exists, cause that was a big project.
It was a big.
It was a very
project,
big
so
project.
I'd be happy to take a peek again.
See what you can find, if we, or at least, whatever, if there is a map, any map, or the most current map, would be good. Alright, so we're gonna put this here, so Christine, if you're listening, right in front of, she may be,
Here, I have a solution for you. Why don't we take my folder and put it in here?
okay.
yeah, if we don't have a folder, we don't have a project.
And
Right.
we'll have a green folder, and then I'll know what you
we're
should start
doing.
for the file.
Okey dokey, good. Happy days. All right, so I'll make a motion then to continue, Stony Hill Village Pond Maintenance to our next regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Where is page 2? All right, so that is it for old business. New business, 20 North Lake Shore.
Aha.
So we'll get your name and address, please.
Good evening, for the record, Mike Mizuko, professional engineer, representing the applicant. Ivanhoe,
So we've got, this is on the lake, right?
it is.
So we got total acreage .21, total wetlands is 0, total disturbed is 0, total disturbed is 0. My favorite number.
Yes,
Okey-doke.
so it's a vacant lot, which is 0.21 acres in the R7 zone. And fortunately, not typical of some of the lake lots where you basically have a steep slope down to the lake. And what that means is that when you have a gradual slope, it means you just have a greater separation distance from the lake to the property line.
Is this,
And
Luke, is the map
it looks like it, yes.
the right one?
Yeah, so you,
So here's the lake.
yeah, way down there, so it's a very gentle slope,
Okay,
which puts everything pretty far away from the lake.
we got a new house.
Yes, a new house, 3-bedroom, it's served by community water and septic.
And you got roof drains that go where?
Yeah, we have a stormwater management system here,
Okay,
so all of the roof drains and the driveway goes to the catch basin. It is sized for water quality volume.
this is lower than this?
The grade drops off.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
everything drops off from the road.
It goes this way?
Yeah.
So does the water flow that way?
Well, no, but this is, you have a retaining wall here to get this grade up.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So this just drains into here, and then it drains back and around, and then out, down, discharges down here.
Okay, so you've just got riprap down here?
Yep. Yeah, it's a very small watershed, it's basically a small part of the driveway, a little bit of the front yard and the roof.
Right.
So it's a very modest house because of the lot, the size of the lot.
So this is this is not, this is more than overflow, right? This is part of,
That's the discharge.
it's not that, is it the discharge from here? Or
Yes,
or
Yes.
if there's anything, so
Well, there's
everything,
footing drains.
the
there's
footing drains go this way direct,
Right,
okay.
right.
So the
that's-
footing drains go this
But I
way,
think,
the-
when this gets full, it gets down there too,
and then
right?
that also
See, he-
connects
see
to that.
Yeah, that also connects.
Right, yeah. Footing drain, we don't normally tie footing drains into the stormwater management.
Okay, so how do we know this is the right size? How do we know that, whatever this square footage is, if I can, how do we know that's the right size? How do we know the square area of rocks is right, and it's, we're not gonna end up with erosion? How do we know that?
Well, you usually just do a
Calculation.
Where, is that here someplace?
I don't, it's in.
Can you look for that, make sure we
I
have
see
it?
Yeah, I'll make sure you
Okay.
have that, yeah.
I mean, you know, something like a, I don't know, we just, you know,
Volume calculation.
yeah,
No,
I-
there's a formula.
Yeah,
in
there's
the
a formula.
DEP stormwater manual. for
yeah, I mean,
sizing and
yeah, look at,
size is the width, the length, and the size rock.
yeah, I look for something like 3 inches, right? A storm, like a 3-inch storm.
Well, you go by the
I-
design storm, 25-year storm.
Well, I know, but we're all finding that there's more of the water events are turning out to be bigger. So take a look at it and see, we get like a 3-inch rainstorm, because we've had 3 or 4 of them this year. We just had one for 5. Just take
Three-inch
a,
rainstorm in how long of a period, though?
24 hours. Yeah.
It's not that much.
That's what I'm, that's the
That's about a-
calculation.
That's about a 2-year storm
Yeah,
event.
that's the calculation I wanna, I wanna have in the record, so that we know that this is gonna handle, with your PE signature, this is gonna handle all this
Sure.
stuff, okay?
I just wanna submit this, cause I just loaded this on the online portal, so just the phone.
Oh, okay. All right. You are their voice of,
Yeah, consent to
Destiny.
the
Okay.
contract, purchaser, who's the applicant on this.
do they have any interest in like a little rain garden over there instead of rocks? Chat with them, would you, and let us know?
Yeah, I mean, I can ask them.
It might, from a,
I mean, the other good point is, again, it's gotta travel through this whole,
no, I
so
understand.
it is like this is like a big, huge rain
Yeah.
garden anyway.
Well, I just ask them, you
Yeah.
know, just if you wouldn't mind, ask them if they would
Sure.
be, you know, instead of rocks, which become, you know, can
Well,
be.
the rocks are important because it slows down the
Velocity.
and breaks.
I know what it does, I'm just saying, you know, from
I'm
their
just saying it's important
standpoint,
to have that. Even if we did like a rain garden, we
Okay.
would still have an energy dissipator.
might be easier to maintain it if it went into like a rain garden, you know,
Right.
cause they don't have to mow around this stuff, and you just ask them if you wouldn't mind, you know, if they would consider a rain garden here,
Sure.
alright? You know, and tell them there's, you know, Connecticut Deep as a nice page, you know, on creating rain gardens, you know, they're not generally big deals, so. And other than that, I don't see any problems with this, right?
Is it gonna have a basement?
Yes, it will, because the grade chops off, it'll be a walkout basement. Yeah, for,
In the back.
this is a 1-car garage here. So, the rest of this will be a basement with a walkout, so it's not a large, it's not large.
So what's
They're
there
very,
today?
very, use good concrete, otherwise
Uh.
water's gonna come in.
What's on the lot today, Mike? Is it trees or,
Yeah,
so they're taking all the
Foliage.
trees down?
Yeah.
Okay, are they putting any, is there any landscaping on this plan?
We don't normally show landscaping.
Well, again, speak to your client, right? But if they wanna put landscaping on it, we can do everything at once, you know? Otherwise they're gonna have to come back.
To put landscaping.
Yeah, like if they're planting trees and stuff like that, it's all in the upland review area. So if they wanna do something like that, you know, we can do it now,
Yeah.
okay, save them.
Sorta seems narrow, you know, the way this house is on the lot,
Yeah.
to do too much, you know,
Well,
with
whatever, I'm just
landscape.
saying, I'm just encouraging them, if they wanna do landscaping, if they wanna plant some trees, if they wanna put some bushes in here, that's all in the upland review area, and so the answer would be yeah. If they wanna do it now, they can say great.
I mean, I don't
They-
think he's gonna put trees around, because your septic's here, we don't want any trees really in
I-
that
just-
septic
I'm-
area.
I'm just saying, suggest that to them, if they
Sure.
wanna get it on the plan now, we'll do it now, if not, they gotta come back.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a deck
Yeah, there's a deck on
It's
the.
an elevated deck?
There's a deck and then
Okay.
he's gonna put like a patio underneath.
Is that documented someplace, that there's a patio
I
underneath
thought I
that?
had called that out.
I don't know, I'm just looking at the plan for the first time, Mike, so.
Yeah. And I'll clarify that.
No, I don't,
You got
a lot of
li- you
things
got
are
a lot of-
noted, but.
you got a lot of lines.
lot
Yeah,
of-
I'll
lot of
check
lines.
Check that, would you?
Yeah, again, yeah. If it's all on this one, it'll save them a trip.
Right. And these stairs just go to grass, is that what these are?
Yes, it's
Okay.
just from the upper level
Right.
down to the walkout level.
What is this thing?
That's the reserve area.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And we got this is the silt fence?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Other than that, like I said, let's see if they wanna do landscaping, talk to them about, if they wanna add a rain garden,
Yep.
okay?
If
And
they're
then
gonna-
show us the calculation
Yes,
for
that's what I got.
3 inches
And then
and,
the patio.
yeah, and a patio.
A
yeah, so-
patio should be on, if they're gonna do
Okey-doke.
it.
All right.
Alrighty,
Thanks.
yep. All right.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to continue W-23-31, 20 North Lake Shore to our next regularly scheduled meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, Michael seconded it.
Got
All
one
those in
in.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. 6 Old Turnpike. Did, Cassandra get your name, and address, please? Your name and address for Cassandra, please?
Les Massey, 205 Cornwall Road, Warren, Connecticut.
All right. So a septic replace?
Yes, the owner needs to replace the septic system. Bought the house a year ago, basically knowing typical two elderly people live there, now there's 2 people and 4 kids.
Okay.
Makes a difference.
Huh?
Makes a difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
septic, the house and septic was built in 1973,
Ah,
yeah.
okay, so
That's for the new one. I have more information here if you want.
what I am looking for is something, oh dear, this is all wetlands?
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, wait,
least
wait,
by
wait,
the
wait,
map.
wait.
at least by the map.
This is across the street from Evergreen, with
Yeah.
the generator.
Yeah,
Right, this is the house, and this is the area we're talking about. We wanna use,
I'm kind of confused by, this is not for you, I'm kind of confused by these GIS maps, like it's got, it's got like wetland, and again, these are not 100% accurate, I mean, these are all aerial, so they're not,
my experience on your side of the table has been planning and zoning. So
yeah,
these maps were done by aerial survey
Right.
like 100 years ago.
100 years ago.
Yeah.
Balloons.
I mean, this is showing some wetlands, but I don't
But if you-
understand this
But
purple.
the legend says it's wetlands up there in there.
Where? Because I don't remember the purple, that's sort of new for me when I see these.
Deep designated wetlands?
I don't know.
No, that is deep designated wetlands.
That's the
Oh.
designated-
So
That's
Deep's got an
designated for you.
Deep's got an overlay on
They
this?
do.
Oh.
Yep, so instead of just the our
Yeah.
wetlands, that's also deeps.
Oh, okay. Oh dear.
Which house are we talking about on the property here? It's this
Right in
one?
the middle. Yes, right in the middle. And
Okay.
this area here is what I'm trying to put.
Yeah.
That's where the existing septic is, and we need to replace it
And where's the septic?
right across here.
I hate these. Who's I talking to? So,
Right across here is the existing septic and where we wanna put the new one in. Or,
Okay.
I take it back, the replacement one. The rules for repair and replacement are different than new.
But the original one, to your knowledge, designed by an engineer.
No, I have the as-built from it.
Okay.
Done very nice. I was impressed. Though unfortunately, they put it too deep in the ground.
Uh-huh.
That's the biggest thing.
They put the
Yeah.
septic too deep in the ground?
Yeah, because now we're talking about going 25 feet down the house, we're at the top of ground, and that's where the bottom of my trench is gonna be for the field, okay? Right now, it's, the top of the trench is probably down another foot from that, and it's 30 inches deep. So you're like 4 feet in the ground. And that's why it fails. There's 80 feet of what is Richard's, we call teepees.
I know
Which I find nice because I think that's the first year that they designed and
That's it.
patented them and started making them.
Yeah,
And
M&M
what year would you estimate that was put in?
Pardon me?
The septic tank that's to be.
Oh, the fields, I plan on using S-Box.
No. What year was the original septic?
1973,
Okay.
50 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
M&M stuff.
I've lived on the street a long time. There was a period of time where I don't think anybody lived there, and it was sort of in disrepair, and you couldn't see it from the street. There was a lot of.
Looks like there was a lot of big trees that were coming in the driveway.
Yeah.
I have no,
Yeah,
knowledge
probably
of that.
about 10 years ago it was renovated.
I've only been familiar with the property about a month here trying.
Can you do this in a day, incidentally?
Pardon me?
Are you
No.
going to be able to do this in a day?
No.
A day? No, it's
No.
gonna take about 2 weeks.
So you gotta cut a tree, right?
One tree.
Okay,
One tree's in the trench.
okay, and then you gotta excavate whatever is there, you have to excavate to take what's there out?
I'm just,
Right.
right now, between me and the sanitary worked out, I just plan to take the concrete units out and leave the stone. And then readdress, because it's a little crooked how the old one goes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I need to dig a 100-foot long trench, 10 feet wide.
Is that on
2
your
feet
little
deep.
list here? That's what I'm looking for.
I just put down like construct septic system.
Okay, here's what, I need a little more detail. It's things like, construct septic system
Well,
field.
that's all in the sequence of doing a septic.
Okay, but here's what I'm trying to understand, how much dirt are you taking out?
None.
You're not taking any dirt, you're just
I'm not
excavating?
taking any away. I would say, I need to dig the trench, 10 feet wide, 100 feet long, 2 feet deep, pile on the side, okay, which I have to slope it, put 7 loads of sand in my trench, and then use that for cover, and we'll grow grass on it. So the only material I need to bring in, which is correct, is the 7 loads of sand. I have no plans of taking dirt in or out.
Just the sand?
Just the sand's gotta come in.
In the pile, you'll be able to have a sediment thing around it, like
Silt fence?
yeah, silt fence, right? You got it. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Like a silt fence,
This one shows contours, so it'll show you which way.
Is
the
there a
pile is.
hill? There's a hill here that goes this
No.
way, or where?
No,
It's
it's
pretty
sort of flat.
It does go downhill. It's actually the contour map. Those are contours.
So
numbers.
what do we got, what is this,
Okay,
370?
So there's a contour right across here of this line. This is uphill from this if water flows this way.
Okay, so the water goes that way.
Yes.
Okay.
So, 3 sides.
So that's why you've got this.
That's right. That's why
okay,
the silt fence is there.
Okay.
The neighbors, looks like they've done the same thing. Their septic area is right back here and it's built up, mounded up, done whenever, years ago. I have no idea when, but
Yeah.
I just look at the neighbors, there's their septic. Right, and we need to do the same thing.
You
here.
go down Pocono Road, you see it all.
Huh?
On Pocono Road has a bunch of it.
Yeah.
Pocono, yeah,
Yeah,
because
they're
that's all
built
wetlands
up.
years ago.
Yes, they're all built up.
Right.
So you're bringing in big excavators and stuff like that?
Yeah, I
What
wish
do
I
you-
was,
what
but
do
I'm
you-
planning on doing with one backhoe.
So the equipment is a backhoe?
Yep, and other than that, it's delivery trucks. Truck delivers the septic tank and then the sand.
Backhoe.
Is Bob Kaufman still around?
I'm sorry, but
Bob Kaufman, is he still alive?
don't know, recognize that.
M&M Septic? Over-
I have never really dealt with M&M. I always deal with Richardson and Torrington, so.
Oh, okay, I was just
Yeah.
curious, yeah.
All right, well, we can just put that into the,
I have that one and this one, okay.
so let's just,
So my narrative's correct on this dirt anyway, we're asking about.
Yeah,
No
right,
dirt in or out,
right.
Just bringing in the sand.
yeah, okay. All right, so, the total wetlands, 1.3, disturbed wetland, 2,200 square feet, that seems about right. Okay. Well, Laura, I said it's new business, and usually, we have, the state requirement is, wait 2 weeks. We don't
Right.
do that with septic
Right.
in here in Brookfield.
Septic repairs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we, a lot of people come in here saying, hey, this is where hey, oh my goodness, we have an emergency. So we have to approve those. This one sounds like it's not the most emergent thing, but we don't make the people who come in with forethought wait. You know, we don't make the people who.
It is and it isn't, because he had a complaint from his neighbors because the septic was on top of ground.
Yeah.
So right now, with all his laundry's being done at a relative's house.
Right,
So
so
he can't really use the property.
So thank him for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so he's not having a, or a health issue anyway, but it's full. For what he's doing, just,
What size tank do you have? You don't know what size tank it is,
what's
isn't it?
that, the
What size tank, the holding tank does he have in there now?
1250, and
Oh,
that's what we're
1250.
gonna put back in for the same thing.
And, no, that's the tank, right?
Yes.
The tank and then the fuel. All right. You wanna make the motion? I hate these.
Yeah.
You can have these two if you want for further information.
I think
I
this
couldn't-
is it, right? This
No,
is
they-
it.
This didn't, well, that's it.
That's it.
But this has contours, this has the soil testing.
No, I think that's all
Yeah.
right. I mean, we've got
Yeah.
some
This
stuff in
is
the back.
enough
I
for-
This is enough.
I couldn't do it on the application online.
Well, you can't, right, well,
I
you
couldn't
can't,
do it.
right, well, this is in, yeah, if it was a bigger project, you would have
Right.
had a surveyor and we'd have
Engineer.
an
Well,
engineer.
We still plan to have, the health department's requiring a surveyor, because we need to find these 2 points to be exact. We need to know exactly how far this is from here. We know we have enough.
Oh,
You know,
right.
it's like more than 20 feet, but it's less than 25, so they need to put an exact number down.
Okay, well, then that's gonna be a stipulation. If you get a plan from them,
Yeah.
give me a
Oh,
copy of that.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine, because that's what it will be.
Yeah,
Like I say,
so
we
you're
have to-
gonna, it's gonna be an A2, or what are you gonna call it, an as-built or an A2? What are you gonna call this, the sanitarians map?
What do you-
No, you tell me, what are you gonna call, cause that's what
I'm-
whatever you call it,
I'm
that's
gonna
what I
do-
want.
I'm gonna do when I submit the health plan to the health department.
Okay.
Which is basically the same plan. I'll put the dimension in here once I know it. You know,
So you're not-
revise the plan.
Is it gonna be this level of detail, you're gonna be
Yeah.
using, alright, so you're not getting, you're not
I'm
getting.
not an engineer, I'm an installer.
Okay, so you're,
And
there's
I'm
not,
allowed to design with me and the sanitarian together, we install the system. He's given me all these maps, most helpful, so.
okay, well then, alright, I heard you say you were gonna have an engineered map, that's what I heard you
No,
say.
a
Surveyor.
surveyor,
Where,
just a
survey.
surveyor. We just need not even a map.
oh, okay, that's what I heard,
Surveyor-
surveyor
Yeah,
map.
I heard
I
stakes
heard a
is gonna
surveyor
stick it
The
out.
map.
surveyor needs to identify these 2
Right.
corners
Okay.
for
Right,
us.
right, right.
With that, we can determine how far it is apart.
Right.
Okay, I don't need that.
Okay.
If that's, I had heard surveyor
No,
map,
I-
I'm going,
I did
oh,
too, but-
good, then we'll get something else,
Yeah, but
hooray.
no, I-
Okay, and we'll have the
It
same
needs a
thing.
survey map.
Okay,
Just
you're
find
just
the
gonna
2
have the
points.
surveyor identify the points.
So I guess as a stipulation, it would be that this distance will be certified by a surveyor, or this
I don't think-
line will be.
I don't think we
No.
care, you know why? Cause it's in the wetlands.
That's true.
It's not like,
Doesn't change
it's
it.
not like, oh, let's make it 35 feet from the wetlands.
You know, this
Yeah.
is
It's
the
in the
same
wetlands.
thing
right.
as across the street, Evergreen, you know, the whole thing was wetlands, I guess, originally.
Yeah.
They're just lucky it lasted 50 years.
Okay.
So,
All right,
I'd
Bob,
like
Bob's
to
gonna
make a motion that we approve, 2333, 6 Old Turnpike, with the following stipulations, which you can state. Go ahead.
No, just for this one, it's just the, usual stipulations.
With the usual
That's all
stipulations.
we have from this one.
Okay. All in favor?
aye.
Dave?
No, I'm going to abstain
Dave's
on
gonna
this one.
abstain, all
I'm
right.
sorry, I live a
So
couple of houses away, it isn't
So Michael's
appropriate.
going to second that motion?
I'll second it.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? One abstention. Okay, motion carries 3-0 to 1.
Thank you.
All right, you're in
Thank you.
business.
Somebody would, I assume I get something, someone can tell me what your usual stipulations are?
Yeah,
Get a copy of
I
all of
will.
it and the
Yeah.
approval.
Here's the
So I
main,
stay out of trouble?
here's the main one.
Yeah.
Here's the main one. Get the silt fence in, call the land use office for inspection
For
before
inspection.
you do anything.
Okay, kinda like get the tree knocked down before I put silt fence in.
Whatever.
I wanna whack the fence. that's
Yeah,
all.
whatever you decide to
I'll
do,
leave the
that's,
stump in, but I'll get the tree knocked down.
that's mostly what you need to do.
All right, that's it? I'm all
Yep.
set?
And you'll get a copy of your wetlands approval, just
Right.
give us a few days to process.
Yeah, I get that.
All right, so
So
that's
used to
that.
that.
Thank you.
Proposed updates to the wetlands, this is the beaver stuff, this is still, here till we get through this other stuff. So once we get through the notification and the riparian buffers, then we'll move on to the beaver dam removal guidelines, so that can stay there, please. Correspondence, we don't have anything. Review of the previous minutes. When I read them, all this happy stuff here. It's all
I
after
think the only
fact.
thing is, they put my name as being here at the meeting, I wasn't here at the meeting.
Then that's,
Did they?
Absent.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
absent, okay, I
Yeah.
just, all right.
Yeah, I do have a couple things, this is really pretty nice here, online. Um, 29. It says applicant, it explains the application has filled the wetlands that the applicant will be
trying to.
and I wanna
restore-
delete the word trying, because they're going to do it. So applicant will be, delete trying to recreate, not restore.
So not even the word "be" will go out. The applicant
Will-
will
Yeah, there's two, yeah,
recreate.
yeah, the applicant will recreate, yeah, will,
So take
will
out
be, so
three
you can- you
words
can take
and-
out 3 words, be, trying, and to can come out. Cause it's, again, they're not, when they're filled wetlands, you can't restore something that's filled, but you can, we'll see,
Mhm.
recreate it. Then also on the second page, line 58, Chair Fox reopened the public hearing. Cause it was opened, I
The
don't know,
meeting
sometime in
before, or,
June or something like
Yeah.
that. It was opened in June, but we've continued it and it's just being
We have a time limit?
reopened. Nope.
Okay.
Cause it's ours. And then on line 67, I think the word "and" is missing. As Fox explained that the amendments are to provide some protection for water courses and intermittent water courses, and is terribly important as the temperature warms the warm waters. The temperature warms, and I would just say, temperature warms the water, and then delete on line 68, the second warms. Right? And that's all I found. Somebody else find anything else?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion, then we approve the minutes for July 10th, 2023 with the corrections on page 1 and page 2.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye.
abstain.
Motion carries 3 to 0 to 1. Cassandra, I
Why,
made
what's
those,
the one?
Bob was not here, so he
Oh,
abstained.
okay.
He doesn't have to, but
Yeah,
it's
okay.
usually what people
Yeah.
do.
Right.
Okey dokey, informal discussion.
Nope.
Nope. Anything for us that you've discovered in your?
Travels?
Nothing for tonight, Madam Chair.
Okey dokey. All right, so I don't have anything else, so with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, Michael made the motion,
I'll second it.
Oh,
Bob
that's yours.
seconds that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries 4 to 0, unanimous. Okey doke.
Turn off the mics, everybody.